So, Far Cry 6 is one hell of a thing. To some, the epitome of modern-day Ubisoft's biggest flaws, their reliance on formula and a reluctance to do anything truly forward-thinking. Though to others, it's the most refined and enjoyable version of something that started with Far Cry 3. If you're in the latter camp, which I very much am, Far Cry 6 is every bit a streamlined return to form that you might have been waiting for since 2012. Of course, this being an Ubisoft game, there's a gargantuan open world rammed with collectibles, crafting components, secret weapons, and more, so to get the most out of Far Cry 6, you'll need as much information and pointers as possible. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and this is Far Cry 6, 12 tips and tricks the game doesn't tell you. Number 12, trigger AMIGO kills from behind cover. Maybe something of a bug, but a very helpful one. Once you've begun targeting or firing on an enemy, they'll show up with a red alert outline visible through cover. Whilst this is massively helpful for you to reposition and strike from their blind spot, tap right on the D-pad and your equipped AMIGO, Guapo if you're just starting out, can still target and attack them. Useful for keeping guards busy while you reload or heal. Always remember you can stop an advancing enemy dead in their tracks with this method. Number 11, turn pickup outline on immediately. One of the reasons many people don't like Far Cry 6 is its reliance on crafting components, loot systems, and all-round combing the environment to find things for hours at a time. I would usually run a mile from these ideas too if they weren't implemented so smoothly, and there's absolutely a way to treat Far Cry 6 as one big tornado of unlocks, pickups, upgrades, and action gameplay. To get that in motion then, dive into the settings and turn on Pickup Outline in the Visions tab. Putting a thin but still noticeable white outline around any and everything that's useful to you, it means you'll only ever focus on the most necessary components. Also, keep an eye out for any case with an alligator shape on top. These will always house a legendary weapon, and though the capabilities of which are random, i.e. you might get a hulking light machine gun with soft rounds or a tiny pistol with armor-piercing bullets, eventually you'll land on a super rare firearm you can call your own. Number 10, armor-piercing weapons and ammo is insanely overpowered. One of the many small tweaks introduced in Far Cry 6 is a reliance on ammo types, though right now you can absolutely break the game by equipping armor-piercing bullets on just about anything. Why? Because although the world of Yara is gated by level-based regions and traditional Far Cry heavies closing you down, a headshot with an armor-piercing round will put them down in a couple of shots max. Blast rounds too will tear right through vehicles. It gets to the point where the former feels like a bug in need of fixing, but for now, get to carving your way across Yara with ease. Number 9, you can change entire loadouts whenever you want. Part of Far Cry 6's appeal is trimming all the fat off the experience from beforehand. I mean that in relation to immersion-breaking stuff too. No more skinning animations, a wider health pool during gunfights, having the ability to do things your guy would learn over the course of their adventure from the beginning, etc. One of the most useful tweaks is letting you change your entire loadout, weapons and gear from every single thing you've collected on the fly whenever you like. Want to spec towards stealth and have a silenced pistol with a bow and arrow and some distraction items? Cool. If you get spotted, just pause, switch to better armor, bust out the flamethrower, and keep playing. It's dumb, it makes no sense, it's Far Cry in 2021. Number 8, remember the Supremo's rockets home in. Speaking of dumb things you can just go and have fun with, the backpack super weapon called the Supremo starts with a flurry of rockets as your ult style ability. A tiny tip then is to scan the map for tanks or keep an ear out for helicopters and specifically save these rockets for the heaviest of ordnance. Put simply, the range on the Supremo is ridiculous, knowing the game is coded to recognize the biggest threat and then put it down in seconds. Number 7, how to get more healing items. Healing and time to kill in Far Cry 6 is nicely expanded on from previous installments. Now it feels like even more of the anarchic possibilities a given play session serves up won't just kill you by accident as you get stuck in. As is now standard in the franchise, you can hold triangle or Y to pull off one of the many standard health regeneration animations, something that will recover over time and is represented by the number to the left of your health bar. To expand your survival options and stay alive longer though, you'll need to find some health syringes, or rather craft them. Requiring 10 durable plastic and 2 Supremo bond once you've reached rank 4, these can then be equipped as a gadget and used from the L1 menu in-game. It means you have a surplus of healing items on top of your natural ability to recover, and will only encourage you to create more chaos. Number 6, stealth kill from your parachute. A Far Cry classic at this point, but know that any enemy can break your fall from most considerable heights if you land directly on them. Obviously this won't save you from falling out of the clouds themselves, X-Men Origins Wolverine style, but drop onto an enemy from heights that would otherwise wound you, and you'll enter into the stealth kill animation instead. Combine with a wingsuit approach into a parachute glide into one of these kills for one hell of an entrance. Number 5, all guns auto-aim while driving or riding a horse. Another carryover from Far Cry 5, Ubisoft don't want you worrying about headshots or doing anything other than causing as much carnage as possible. Now, controls for firing while driving or riding a horse change based on exactly that. It's either hold down the right trigger on horseback or left bumper /L1 for the former. Best of all though, and you can just hold down the button for this, the game will auto-aim for you whenever you pass the reticle anywhere near an enemy soldier. You can target civilians this way too, but if you want to clear out an outpost with the added armor of a vehicle, or you like the sheer badass feeling of galloping through a platoon on horseback, nailing headshots and kills as you go, just hold down fire and the game will do the rest. Number 4, fly low to avoid anti-aircraft guns. The enemies of fun once you get your hands on airborne vehicles, anti-aircraft guns will blast you out the sky once you enter any restricted airspace. It's common to then sneak around the respective bases and blow them up before exploring anywhere faster from the sky, but if you hover low enough, like literally tree height, you can explore as much as you like at this faster pace without triggering the guns at all. Number 3, how to respawn a lost AMIGO. Maybe this will get patched over time like many other things I've talked about, but Far Cry's AMIGO AI isn't the best at keeping up with the amount of things you'll be doing. Slide down a hill, dive in a vehicle to cover some ground, and immediately go into a combat situation, and they'll be left wondering where the hell you've gone. Point being, if you take a moment to hop into the main menu and across to the AMIGOS tab, you can respawn any AMIGO directly from here, having them appear back in front of you to give a helping hand. Number 2, scan vehicles to add them to your collection. Far Cry 6's approach to vehicles is actually way more fleshed out than the marketing or the franchise itself would have you believe. Here you have access to a nice range of customization options comprising battering rams and gun types, but even cooler, you actually accrue these different options by acquiring the world's worth of cars overall. Whilst the game tells you to manually drive them back to HQ, bring up your phone with a tap of the D-pad and you'll auto-scan any vehicle into your database right there on the spot instead. It's a massive time save and something to think of anytime you see a new car. And number 1, some very specific AMIGOS tips. The AMIGOS are my personal favorite thing in Far Cry 6, and it's worth knowing what their unlocks are and where they specifically apply. First, I recommend using any scoped weapon to zoom in on a distant enemy. Then tap right on the D-pad so your companion makes a beeline for that specific faraway guard. This way you'll cause a ruckus on the other side of a compound, and it can let you destroy an anti-aircraft gun, take out a valuable target, or otherwise stealth your way around easier than ever. Next, note that all of Guapo's unlocks are built around his self-revive, killing 50 targets and regenerating 3,000 points of health, so he only benefits from being sent into the fray. Another awesome AMIGO ability comes from the dog Boom Boom. Like Far Cry 5's Boomer, his unlocks let you scan a radius of enemies and animals. A neat tip though, and something I used a ton in Far Cry 5, is to tell Boom Boom to head to a spot on the other side of an area. Get the line you're sending him on just right through the middle of a base for example, and that radius will auto-tag everything within it, letting you go through enemies one by one. After Boom Boom has tagged 24 and 50 enemies respectively, his radius will increase even more and he'll gain more health, letting him get through enemy encampments more reliably and netting you more info on where to shoot first. And those are just 12 tips and tricks Far Cry 6 doesn't tell you. Let me know your favorites down in the comments below, and please subscribe to the WhatCulture Gaming Podcast. For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com, and I'll catch you soon.